In the recent homicide that occurred in our city in the early hours of this morning. And there were some other homicides that occurred earlier this year. And people are concerned about those homicides. First, let me say this. My heart goes out to the families of these victims who lost their lives to gun violence, and it is something that pains me each and every time one of these incidents occurs. And so my heart goes out to the families, especially the most recent victim that was discovered this morning.
Who was it? How old?
We can do a lot of things, as we have been doing, and yet bad things can still happen.
That's right.
And bad things have been happening in our city as well as in other cities. But my concern is about our Queen City. And I have to tell you, I took office on January 1st of 2014. And since taking office, our police department, our public safety division, has driven crime down by over 25%. That's over 25%. This time, this year, compared to the same time last year, crime was driven down by over 17%. But I must tell you this, in spite of the progress that we have made, if there is one murder, those statistics pale by comparison to the fact that a life has been lost. And so that pains me as well. But it doesn't mean, or it doesn't diminish the fact that we have made significant progress in our city, and that we have enhanced the quality of life for everyone who lives here. Someone mentioned that their co-workers or employees don't feel safe. Plainfield is a very safe city. These incidents that have occurred are incidents that occurred as a result of drugs, guns, and gangs. And people that are intent on destroying each other, they will do that. And so I made the point that we can do a lot of great things as we have been doing, and bad things can still happen. But although I know that, I don't in any way take the safety of our community for granted. I don't take the lives that are being lost for granted. I think it's extremely important that we give the attention to these issues as they raise their ugly heads. Now, we have done a lot of things over the course of the last 3 years. We have put 13 additional officers on the street in this year, in the academy. Next year, we're going to put 20 additional police officers in the academy. We've hosted Plainfield's finest community events where we brought together the community in block parties, in the street, and in our parks. We have also worked with our young people. The Plainfield Police Division, they hosted 45 of our young people for a number of weeks over the course of the summer to mentor them and to give them guidance, to let them know that they are the future and that there is a better way than the streets. So that's one of the things our Plainfield finest has been doing. We hosted a youth summit on the Saturday of the MLK weekend this year, where we brought in Mark Lamont Hill and other professionals, and we had a large gathering at the Ducre School of Arts, a youth summit with our young people. Recently, we hosted a peaceful Plainfield roundtable where we had professionals from all over, different professions. And the purpose of this was to expose our young people. There was representation from our young people there as well. The Reverend who spoke said that when he grew up, there were all of these recreational facilities. South 2nd Street Youth Center, which is still there, by the way. And there is partnership with the city. But I must also tell you this, that there are additional community centers across our city. They are known as our public schools. 10 years ago, 2 community schools were built with recreational spaces, gyms, basketball courts, and we have to hold our local public school district accountable for providing some of the recreation that is needed in our city. Don't just look to the municipal government. When the schools are here, the spaces exist, the gyms exist. So spaces are here that can be used in order to provide the recreation that some of us are looking for. I met with the prosecutor a few months ago, along with our public safety director. And I said to her, why is it that the Buchanan cities in Union County, to the east and Plainfield to the west, why is it that we are the cities that have these challenges, and the other 19 cities in between the east and the west appear not to have the same challenges that we have? So if drugs and guns can be kept out of Westfield and Cranford and Summit and these other cities, why is it that they can't be kept out of Plainfield? There's a systemic structural imbalance that has created what they believe to be warehouses in certain communities where folks from these affluent communities are coming in to buy drugs and guns. And so we have got to stem the flow of these dangerous weapons from coming in to the community. And we need help in doing that. It's the responsibility of the state and the federal government to help provide the assistance that is needed. We can invade nations, and we can arrest dictators and so on and so forth. And we can't arrest the issue of guns and drugs that are coming into our communities. Yes, we can, but the state and federal authorities, they know the sources of these supplies that are coming in.
That's right.
And they've got to attack the problems at the source. And so don't look to Mayor Mapp and to all of us in this room for all of the solutions. We need help from other agencies in order to fix some of the problems that urban centers, not just Plainfield, are facing. But I can tell you that we know a part of the solution has to do with jobs. And to that end, we've hosted a number of job fairs. And last year alone, we put 100 people to work in full-time jobs at the U.S. Postal Service. We also hosted other job fairs this year, and we are awaiting the statistics from those companies to find out how many of our people we put to work. Unemployment was over 13% when I took office. It's now down to about 6-point-something%. So we're making progress. We're putting people to work. And I'm very passionate about what I do. I am emotional when I get the kind of feedback that we receive, because people seem always to focus only on the negatives and not accentuate the positives.
That's true.
Are there any media outlets in this house tonight?
No.
Now, we invited, we have the only media outlet in this house is Tap Into Plainfield. We invited the Star Ledger, Fires One, NJ12. We invited all of them.
That's right.
And they're not here. Fires One said they couldn't get here. Yet, Fires One called my communication director this evening and asked if I can be available at 5 o'clock for them to conduct an interview with me about the homicide that happened last night.
That's right.
But they're not here in this room.
They want to get them credits.
So, if I sound emotional, it's because this is the way I feel.
That's all right.
This is the labor of love for me. I know what I do each and every day. I wake up thinking about this city. I go to bed thinking about this city.
I can attest to that.
And we will not rest. We will not rest until this city becomes all that it can be.
Right.
And don't... Don't let the homicides cloud your vision in terms of the wonderful things that have been happening in this city. Developers were shying away from this city for the last 3 decades.
That's right.
And under my vision for the city, they're knocking down our doors. We have a $30 million project in the 4th Ward that's under construction. A $50 million project is going up on South Avenue. And there are others that will be going up on North Avenue and other parts of the city. So there's a level of confidence by investors as a result of how safe they know our city is. And so again, my heart goes out to each and every family that has lost someone at the hands of violence this year. But I would like some of you to help me with the solutions you believe we can put to address some of these issues. If any one of you know how we could have stopped the homicide that occurred last night, come see me. See the officers that are in the back.
That's right.
Please, I need your help. If you know how we could have stopped the one that was found on Front Street last week, come tell me. Tell the officers. Let's find a solution. You shouldn't just be critics. You must offer up solutions. And my final point is this. Any one of you who can help me to get through to the governor to send us a grant for $5 million to make sure that all of our high school graduates who want to go to college can do so. Amen. Money should not be a barrier to a college education.
That's right.
And you will hear in my State of the City address about a program called Plainfield Promise. We will talk about a number of things. And one of the chief planks of Plainfield Promise is that we will guarantee that all of the students who graduate from the Plainfield High School and other charter schools who want to go to college will have a way to do that, and that money will not be a barrier. So these are the progressive things that we're doing, that we're focused on. And again, to the panelists, I thank you. To Tara Dowdell, I thank you. And to all of you, I thank you. And I need your help, so come see me.
Right.